right, guys, let's do this. Let's mock up a little bit of options here today. So those who missed it, Karl and I yesterday talked about this article from ESPN where they had Shedeur Sanders falling to number 10, and in very similar fashion to Justin Fields falling to 11 when we drafted him, we traded up. We gave up a haul for it. That tends to happen when you have a quarterback fall more than they thought, and a quarterback-needy teams like this year the Steelers and before the Bears. So with that, I want to go over some mock options because what they did, they had, the Steelers obviously trading up to get Shedeur Sanders, but they had the Bears taking Shamar Stewart, and I didn't love that. And I said, okay, there's better options at 21. And if I don't necessarily think all three of these guys will be there, I'm going to give three parallel options. I'll go side by side. I'll do it quickly. This is going to be more of a quickie mock draft. I've had the quickie mock drafts in the past. It will be more of a quickie one. But I love this idea today. We'll get off this side. We get on one idea and then we get on another one. But balancing the scales, because the Bears gave up a haul to get Justin Fields. Now we've got our franchise quarterback. By the way it worked out, we had to have a couple sucky seasons there. We had to endure the pain. Now we've got our franchise quarterback, and we now can fleece the Steelers finally. We can finally get the better end of them because they keep getting the better end of us. And we can turn the table and get those scales balanced so we can get some of that value back and build this team to be a Super Bowl contender. So this is not my proposal. This is ESPN's proposal, but then I'm going to elaborate on it, and we're going to have some fun. So just to recap 2021, the Bears gave up 120, 5 164, and 2 future picks, first and fourth. So 2 firsts, a fifth, and a fourth. And to do that, they came up from 20 to 11 and got Justin Fields. Well, this year's proposal from ESPN is very similar, a little more value, though, because instead of 20 to 11, it's 21 to 10, giving up 5 148 as well, so a first and a fifth, but in return getting a third and fourth instead of a fourth and a fifth. So 121, 383, 4 123, and a future first-round pick. And I would run to the podium. I would freaking be elated if this happened. I mean, if the Bears can exact that much value and get 2 first-round picks next year, our own and Pittsburgh's, in a season that appears, you never know until it happens, appears to be a much more lucrative overall draft, especially at left tackle. I mean, there's so many options now. To ruin it, I've got 3 options here. You'll see there's 3 side-by-side options, and I do take tackle. I take Josh Simmons in one of those because you've got such a unique opportunity with a kid that was injured and is expected to be one of the best left tackles the best one in this class and would be competitive with next year's class. So anyways, let's jump right into this thing. So those who have been following the channel know I've kind of diagnosed our primary needs according to me. Now, other people might agree differently, but for starters, we need a third linebacker. He's going to play 20-40% of snaps. Tight end 2, RB 1 or 2, so running back 1 or 2. We also need depth, offensive tackle and offensive guard. I think that center position is going to be filled by a committee type thing or Ryan Bates. A cornerback is probably the least important need of these, especially with the most recent signing we had. But then rotational defensive end and nose tackle are probably right up here with these ones. So those are probably the 5 most important, plus these 2 as well. And then a safety for next year, because all 4 of our safeties are on the end of their contracts. Every single one of our safeties after this year will be a free agent. So there's got to be something done. We'll obviously re-sign a couple of them or someone. Something's going to be done, though. So with that, and this will be quick, I'm going to just do a quick split screen, just give you guys options. And then I'm going to post on the community page a vote. I want to see what you guys think is the best draft out of this, because I think all these could happen. Are they realistic? I don't know. It's mock draft time. I don't think Kenneth Grant will be there. It's a spoiler for my middle one, and we'll see. But there's going to be options at 21, whether it's Kenneth Grant or Walter Nolan would be there. But here's option number 1. We're going to trade down, and then a lot of people have said, well, when would you accept a running back? When do you think his running back is okay if you say the top of the first round is not as okay? And I said later on, when the value of that pick is not so high, if you garner more value, I would be okay with taking a running back in the 20s, in the late 20s especially. But if it's your own pick, just like the Lions, a lot of people don't realize that. The Lions, when they traded out of 6, Bijan Robinson was the number 1 running back in that class. He was hands down the Ashton Jeanty of this class. So Ashton Jeanty, back in 2000 and whatever it was, 22 or 23, I think it was 23. Bijan Robinson was it. He was him. He was the prize. Well, the Lions traded from 6 out of that and gave up the prize to get a haul. They got more picks, and they had 2 first-round picks. It made it more viable to take Jahmyr Gibbs at 12. So it's more understandable. I still don't agree with 12. I think that's wrong. And Jahmyr Gibbs could have a 3-year shelf life. He could be done after 5 years. Who knows? I'm not trying to curse the kid. But those things happen with running back. It's a very volatile position. It's a position that has a short shelf life and does not get paid the most. So there's a lot that goes into that. But at 21, I would be more accepting of a trade down and a running back position here. We've garnered an extra first-round pick next year and an extra pick this year. Good with that. Defensive interior and tackle. So let's jump right into these. Right off the bat, we're going to have, on the left side, Omarion Hampton. I like Omarion Hampton. I've said that from the start. I like Ashton Jeanty too, guys. I just don't like him at 10. So Omarion Hampton, 5.9 yards per attempt, 4.35 yards after contact, and 43.9% breakaway yards. On tape, he looks really good too. So 128.1 elusiveness grade. Omarion Hampton would be the pick at 21 for the Bears. Then at the second option, we're going to go with Kenneth Grant, as I said. So Kenneth Grant, 1.8 yards average depth of tackle, 3.3% missed tackle rate, which is phenomenal, and 9.1% pass rush win rate. All those are off the charts. And, I mean, he's a force multiplier, guys. His RAS score just came out, and his 10-yard split is phenomenal. Like they have him projected here at 17. I don't think he would last till 21. I think the Niners would snag him up at 11. But I'm going off mock drafts. So if we're going off mock drafts and we're playing that game, I'm just going to give better options than Shamar Stewart, in my opinion, of what the Bears could do if they do trade down. Now, we'll take me off because there needs to be room for this last one. And then last option, Josh Simmons. So if he's still there at pick 21, again, they've got him going at 18, and I think he probably will, especially after his pro day, showing his mobility and his flexibility, showing that his leg is apparently better. So he had 1 pressure in 158 opportunities this year. People will, criticize that and say, well, it was against lower competition because it was the start of the year, first 7 games. I agree, but you showed constant improvement from his year at San Diego State in 2022 to when he transferred to Ohio State, played higher competition, cut his pressures down in half, only had 12 the entire year in 2023. Then 2024, through 7 games, he only had 1 pressure allowed at Ohio State. So I'm very impressed with Josh Simmons. His tape is really good too. He's a bulldozer, and he would be a lot of fun as a Bear. I don't know how it would work out with him and Braxton Jones. I don't know what the dynamic would be there. I know the Bears do like Braxton Jones, but he's on the last year of his contract. We'll let the Bears figure that out before our mock draft. We're going to go ahead and take Josh Simmons here. And then we're not going to drag this out and go one by one. I'm just going to show what we did, and then we'll discuss it. So option 1, we took running back, defensive interior edge, and I realize a lot of these may not be available, like Darius Alexander. They've got him ranked at 32, but PFF is not the end-all, be-all for rankings, so we'll just have some fun here. You'll see we took halfback, we took running back, Omarion Hampton here at the top in this one, and over here we took Caleb Johnson at 41, which I really like for Caleb Johnson for the Bears. I don't know if the Bears have him high on the radar. It sounds like it's going to be more of a Ohio State running back is how the tea leaves are kind of going. We're going to just put me right here in the middle. I'm out of the way. But Caleb Johnson, one of the best breakaway yards of the year, really solid on a rougher team. A lot of people say his offensive line did everything for him, but he carried that team. And then down here, we're not taking running back until the 4th round. So we're going to take Bashul Tutton. We're going to focus on other things on this one because things like Tyler Booker fell. Now, they don't have him falling. You can see they have him at 48, so that's where I say their rankings are a little bit off. But we're just going to take best player available, how the board falls. And on this one, we didn't take a running back until the 4th round, and it didn't destroy everything. We're still okay. Bashul Tutton, to me, is a phenomenal option for the Bears. 4.32 speed, a lot of good contact balance, and a lot of breakaway as well. So Bashul Tutton wouldn't be like, oh, we screwed up, we didn't get a running back. No, there's options later. And I really like Bashul Tutton on day 3. So there's really good options in this draft later on. So I'm trying to do different things on each one of these and show we're not stuck or pigeonholed in one way. And the Bears are doing that as well. If you look at the visits they've had, the top 30s they're setting up, the combine visits they had, they're doing multiple positions in different places. Running backs in the 1st, 2nd, even Brashard Smith is a top 30 visit for the Bears now. Safeties in the 1st round, in the 5th round, in the 3rd round. You've got tight end in the 1st round with Tyler Warren, and then you've got Terrence Ferguson who took a visit, and Mason Taylor as well. Could be a 1st round, could be a 2nd round, could be a 3rd round. We'll see what happens. So on this one, we took Darius Alexander as our defensive interior at pick 39. Kenneth Grant in this one in the first round. And then we took Thor Griffith all the way in the 7th round on this one. I don't love that. I do like Thor Griffith. I think he's more of a project defensive interior. But like I said, we took what fell to us. And all these picks, Josh Simmons, Princely Umanmielen, excuse me, guys, Tyler Booker, Mason Taylor, Kevin Winston, Bashul Tutton, how do you pass up on those things? And I did set my parameters that we're only trading one time. We're only doing the one trade down. So we only did that. So all this so it could be equal. I didn't want to, shift the goalposts on all these. We look at the tackles on this one. Josh Simmons is who we took, and then Tyler Booker at guard. I think that's phenomenal. If we can fill the rest of the offensive line room out with Josh Simmons and Tyler Booker, holy crap, nobody can complain about depth anymore. Yeah, that's very solid. Add that with Bill Murray, I have a brain fart, and I have to work my way through it. Karan Amagaji, and then Ricky Stromberg and Doug Kramer. I'm not huge on Doug Kramer. I'm just saying there's Ryan Bates. There's options there as backups, and with Tyler Booker, that pretty much solves a lot of things here. On this one, for value, I really like Jonas Savania. He could play guard as well, and a lot of people project him to move over to guard. And then Holland Pierce as a developmental tackle behind Karan Amagaji and behind Braxton Jones. Just a huge, massive human being. They're saying I overdrafted him by a ton. There's no way he's fallen to 231 after what he's shown and the weight he's lost and the slide he's developed. So Holland Pierce there. And over here on this one, we got Wyatt Milam as well as Clay Webb. Now, I think Wyatt Milam would be better suited at guard, but he can kick out to tackle, and he played a very high level at tackle, I think 34-inch arms. But his slide, his kick ability just appeared, I would think, more of a guard. He's more of a Tevin Jenkins style of guy. And then at edge, Jack Sawyer. I like all three of these options in day two. This is why I'm okay with taking edge at day two and not having to go Shamar Stewart in day one. Princely Umanmielen with his production and his bend and his flex. I mean, he's extremely, extremely good flex. Landon Jackson, less flex, but bigger size, more power, more length. I mean, freakishly long arms. And then Jack Sawyer as well, just high production, high motor. I like all three of these edge options. I wouldn't be upset if we took any one of those. Tight end options, you can see Mitchell Evans, Terrence Ferguson, Mason Taylor. So one by one, Omarion Hampton, Darius Alexander, Jack Sawyer, Wyatt Milam, Andrew Makuba, Mitchell Evans, Clay Webb, and Jalen Walker for linebacker. Option 2, Kenneth Grant, Landon Jackson, Caleb Johnson, Terrence Ferguson, Jonas Savania, Holland Pierce, Malachi Moore, and Kane Medrano. And then on option 3, Josh Simmons, Princely Umanmielen, Tyler Booker, Mason Taylor, Kevin Winston Jr., Bashul Tutton, Thor Griffith, and Nicholas Martin. So the point of all this, guys, we trade back like Ryan Poles brought up at the beginning of the Combine. And I brought it up multiple times. I'm going to bring it up again. So here's his quote to ChicagoBears.com. Really, the approach is the same in speaking about this year's draft. We're just trying to gather as much information about the players that we interact with. We know sitting at 10, there's probably going to be some really good opportunities for us to improve our football team. But with this draft, there's also enough depth in the first round that I believe that you could actually move back a little bit and still pick up a good player. Well, this, to me, moved the wrong thing off there, but we got it back. So there are good options. Either way, there's good options. I like different things about each one of these. And if the Bears do go this course of action and allude to what Ryan Poles, or do what Ryan Poles was alluding to, I wouldn't be terribly upset with any one of these. I think I would prefer some more than others, in some spots more than other ones, and some players higher than other players. But all these fill general needs, and if the Bears scout these guys and like these guys and bring them in, I can get behind every one of these. So I will put a poll up. I will put it on the community tab so you guys can go vote which one of these you like the most, which one would fill. And then we've got 2 first-rounders next year. I freaking love that. So with that, appreciate you guys tuning in. Till next time, the Bears, and bear down.